Hello everyone, it is great to have you join us tonight. The many twists and turns of the 2023 general elections by inference could very well mean our democratic culture is deepening. But we'll leave the arguments of whether it is for good or bad for another day. Today, we will continue our probe into the transition program of some governors-elect and others, of course, and how they intend to hit the ground running. My name is Nnamdi Odipo. Welcome to The Mandate. I'm sure most of you have heard the phrase, power must change hands. Well, power is definitely going to change hands in Jigawa State, but it is going to be a change of baton from within the same ruling All Progressives Congress, where His Excellency Umar Namadi is the governor-elect and awaiting inauguration come May 29. He joins me tonight from Dutse, state capital of Jigawa. I think, yes, right there. We have him right there. Congratulations, Your Excellency, and many thanks for joining me tonight.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nandi. How are you?
Thank you very much, Mr. Nandi. How are you?
Very well, Your Excellency. It's good to have you join us. So I have heard some people describe your incoming administration as an extension of that of the current Badaru-led APC government in Jigawa State. Your party apparently must have done quite well to buoy public confidence and gain support during the election, hence your victory. Is that probably the main reason for your election victory, or it had more to do with your quality as a candidate and the plan you offered the people?
You see, it's a combination of both, Mr. Nandi. You see, in politics for the last 8 years, the APC administration in Jigawa State, under the leadership of Alhaji Muhammad Badr Abubakar, has done so much for the people of Jigawa State in terms of infrastructure, in terms of education, in terms of health, in terms of water, and all other essentials of life. This has really endeared the government to the people of Jigawa State. And therefore, once it comes to the election, they massively voted for APC. Also, on the other hand, we are not being proud that we are the best candidate, but certainly my experience, I served as a commissioner of finance under the same administration, and currently the deputy governor, and also looking at my experience both in the private and the public sector, and I think that people have seen that okay, the combination of these two factors, they feel it is important, they feel that APC is the best answer in Jigawa State.
So, of course, you do officially have the people's mandates now, and so let's talk about your transition program as per garnering or your ability to garner support from the people generally now, and not just those who voted for you. Is that too early to begin to assess, or are you already reaching out across the political divides? And I wonder what kind of responses you have been getting, especially from the other camp. I mean, where your political challengers come from, or what kind of response have you been getting from them so far? If that's, of course, if you've already begun to reach out to them.
The mandate we have gotten from is the mandate we have gotten from the people of Jigawa State, irrespective of their political parties. Therefore, the responsibility on us is to serve the entire people of Jigawa State. We are very mindful of that, and we are going to work for that. And therefore, based on that, we decided to extend a hand of fellowship, especially to those who have contested together, because what I believe is anybody who offered himself to contest for the office of a governor, certainly he has something to offer for the people of Jigawa State. And therefore, what he intends to do is to see what contribution he can give to improve the life of the people of Jigawa State. So based on that, we feel okay. Now that, and at the time we are contesting this election, we are also mindful of the fact that only one of us can get it. Therefore, if all of us, our thinking is the development of Jigawa State. So whoever gets it, then we should come and put our heads together to ensure that we have moved the state forward. So based on that, I am calling to all those who have contested together, and so that they should come up so that we put our heads together, and then let's put all our ideas together so that we can be able to utilize those ideas and develop our state. So I think it's something that we have started earlier, and we will continue to do that. And I'm sure the responses we are getting are very good, and I think we are going to succeed along that line. Like I told you, if all of us, the objective is to develop Jigawa State, and we are also very much aware of the fact that only one of us can get it. So one of us has gotten it. So I think we are all, the best thing is for all of us to come together, give all the advices what are necessary so that we can put our ideas together and then move our state forward.
Well, like you've just inferred there, I mean, it is a collective venture, or rather should be a collective venture. And Your Excellency, I like that you've thrown up the issue of what you intend to offer to the people. Of course, this formed the bulk of your campaign. We did monitor your campaign just before the elections, and we have a fairly good idea of some of what you've promised, and we intend to talk about that very shortly, presently. But I've also heard you talk about justice, fairness, and pragmatic leadership. And I wonder what that translates to and how that would all transform Jigawa State in the coming years. Looking forward, of course.
What
You see, like I said, as a leader, if you want to succeed, you must be fair, you must be just, and you must be pragmatic in your approach. So definitely we are very much aware of this fact, and our first step is that we have gotten the mandate. We'll now sit down and see how we can select our people that we work with in terms of forming cabinet, in terms of all those that we feel that they will assist us to deliver the mandate. So the first thing we'll do, we shall have to be just and fair in selecting those people. Just and fair in terms of we should select the right people for the right job. So that other people that can deliver, people who have the technical know-how in each aspect of life, so that we can bring them on board, so that they can be able to, we come together and then develop this Jigawa State. So definitely one of the fairness and we can do, and what the pragmatic approach we can approach is to ensure that we have put in place the right people for the right job. And definitely we are very much ready to do that, and we are working toward achieving that, inshallah.
I do also know, like you've talked about, what you intend to offer to the people. So I am wondering, in the immediate, of course, I'm sure you intend to hit the ground running. I'm just wondering, those ideas that you've already, you're already thinking about just as soon as May 29 comes and then you take office, what areas do you intend to immediately look into as a matter of urgency?
Well, you see, immediately we come into office, like I said, this is an administration that I'm a part and parcel of the administration. So it won't take me time to understand where I'm going or where I'm heading to. Already I'm part and parcel of the administration. I know where we have come from. I know where we are today. So I know where I should continue. So definitely that is not even a problem. I also, in addition to that, I have put in about 12-point agenda that I feel I can pursue once the mandate is given. Now that the mandate is given, all we intend to do now is, first and foremost, we should try as much as possible to see how we can break down those 12-point agenda into different sectors. And then once that is done, then we should be able, and once that is done, we are sworn in, then the cabinet is in place. We will try as much as possible to organize a retreat for the people to see that, okay, this is a mandate we have, and this is what we have in place for these people. So each aspect will give you, this is your area, and this is what we want you to do. So as much as possible, everybody will be on board, and then everybody knows what to do. So the issue is, each area will take all these areas that are essential based on the 12 points agenda, and we start implementing it immediately. So we hit the ground running immediately without waste of time, since we know where we are and we know where we want to go. So I think it's something that we can, it's not an issue to us.
And I hear you, Your Excellency, but I need to, I'm sorry, but I need to pin you down here because I really need for you to give me an idea, or rather, Nigerians watching, how you intend to really begin. And I get that you have this old 12-point agenda and you've already drawn out these plans. And I'm not saying for you to review anything you do not want to review, but just for you to give us an idea, say, okay, in the next few months, or say in the first 6 months, of our administration, we will focus on security. We will focus on water supply statewide. We will focus on boosting agriculture in rural areas, and just so we get an idea of which direction your administration is likely to focus on in the early days of taking off.
See, like I said, okay, in this present administration, a lot has been doing in all those areas, but specifically, what we intend to do within the first 6 months, we take into consideration about 3 areas that we will focus. Maybe additionally 4. The first, we look at the agriculture. You see, agriculture is the mainstay of the Jigawa state economy, and a lot has been done by this administration to improve agriculture. So we'll be able to consolidate on that. But we also want to see how we can expand the program to the extent that it will bring in so many people that will come on it, and we will also try to make sure that the slogan we have, agriculture as a business, we have make it to become a reality now. Within the first 6 months, people have accepted agriculture as a business, and as well as especially our youth. So we will concentrate on that to ensure that we revitalize agriculture to the extent that our youth will embrace agriculture as a business, and then will come on board so that we will be able to move our economy forward. In addition to that, we will take a baseline survey on both education and health sector, so let us understand where we are, and also on the poverty. We'll take a baseline survey to see where we are today. Immediately, that is what we will do in the first instance. Once we have the data for the baseline survey, then we will see, based on the data, we will then put up our plans and see that how we can improve this. So within those periods, we will try as much as possible to ensure that like an education sector, we know we have an issue of teachers. That area, this present administration has come up with the idea of J-Teach, and these JTs are making a lot of impact in our educational system. So we will see how we can replicate that within the next 6 months in order to improve the teacher-pupil ratio in our schools. Also in terms of health, we will try to, the infrastructure is already on ground, and also in most cases the personnel are not very adequate, which is, but fortunately for us, this organization has done a lot investing in human resource for health. As of today, about 32 out of the 60 doctors we have sent to China have graduated, and then they have also finished the professional exam here in Nigeria. So they are now fully qualified doctors, and then next week they will be put into the system. So that will help to improve the human resource for health within our health sector, and a lot of that. So based on this, we will try also to see how much we can also improve on terms of human resource for health. But by and large, within these two sectors of education and health, the most important thing we will intensify within the next 6 months is supervision. Definitely, we need to ensure that we have strengthened supervisory role. People have to do what they are expected to do, and then we will strengthen supervision, and based on that, I'm sure once that is done, we will improve the quality of education, and we will improve also the quality of healthcare delivery.
I'm actually very glad that I persisted. Otherwise, this would probably not have come out. we would probably not have been able to get you to mention some of these issues and how you plan to tackle them in 6 months. And I can assure you, Your Excellency, that we will be monitoring to see how some of what you've mentioned will play out in 6 months. But I also do get a sense in listening to you since we started this conversation that this may be, I don't know, but let me just ask you straight off. Is this the easy part for you? Was winning the election the more difficult part? Is administration, or does administration seem easier for you? I mean, considering in fact, especially that you're experienced and you've been in this position, or rather in governance for some time. So which is easier when you put them side by side? Was it the election that was more difficult than what you're facing right now, which of course is the big task of administering Jigawa State, as it were?
You see, each one of them is difficult based on the concept you have taken it. You see, winning the election is also difficult, one, because you need to get the mandate of the people, you need to get the acceptance of the people, you need to convince the people you are the right person to do that. So it's also very difficult. But I think executing the mandate is more challenging. More challenging in the sense that you are faced with so many issues. There is scarcity of resources in the system, and also apart from the scarcity of resources, there's a lot of problem challenges in, like for example, like I told you, in the education sector we have challenges of teachers. In the health sector we have also challenges of teachers, and also if you take each and every sector, there are so many challenges on it. But the fact is that, like I said, once you plan and when you are aware of the problems, so at least 50% of the problem you solve. So I am very much aware of these problems, and we have planned to how to tackle these problems. So we can see, okay, it is also, administration is more challenging, but once we have planned to do it, then I think we are going to succeed. So both of them are difficult, but I think getting the mandate is much more difficult in the sense that, because if only once you get the mandate, you can be able to plan and execute the mandate.
Because I was just wondering, yeah, if the election was the more difficult part than administering. But then thank you for clarifying that out. You know, Your Excellency, I pride myself as having gone to every part of Nigeria, and that's a fact. I've been to everywhere. There's no part of this country that I've not been to. Jigawa is one of the places that I've been to. I know you have plans to even improve on what we have, and not just in Duse, which is the metropolis and state capital, but of course across other parts of the state. How good are your plans looking at this point in time to modernize markets in Jigawa State? And I mean the popular local markets like the Gujungu, Megatari, the Babura, Gume, and also, let me not forget, the Dutse daily markets, in a way that promises to boost commerce in Jigawa State.
Well, you see, first of all, I want you to understand the markets are within the purview of the local government areas. So, but as a state government and in our effort to develop commerce, also building on what the previous administration had done. Earlier administration have tried to do something like that. They have identified about 9 markets, which they designated them as model market, and they have tried as much as possible to do an investment on those markets, and also to see so that they can boost the activity of the market and provide infrastructure there. What we intend to do also along that line is we should review and revive that approach. One is to also look at the 9 markets, the big markets 9. Let's look at them and see what can we do in order to improve the revenue of those markets and also to improve commerce. First of all, we will try as much as possible to see that, okay, let's have an agreement with each local government where these markets are located. What we intend to do, look at what the markets need, what can we do to improve the performance of the market, then the state government will come in to invest in that. And once that is done, we will have an MOU with the respective local government on the sharing of the revenue formula, because that is. But we have to make sure that all we are doing is within the context of the law. So we'll make sure that we bring in the experts to advise us on this. In addition to that, you see, we need to also strengthen. We have an intention to strengthen the Ministry of Commerce in the state. The Ministry of Commerce will strengthen them to perform a better role that will improve commerce in the state, especially the small and medium scale enterprises in the state. And what we intend to do, we will try as much as possible to create an enabling environment for small and medium scale enterprises to work effectively within the state. And we will do that through by trying to, as much as to organize them to form into cooperative societies, especially the informal sector. We'll put them into cooperatives. The informal sector put them into cooperatives, organize them so that intervention given to them can easily be delivered to them. And once that is done, we'll organize the informal sector, we form them into cooperatives, we form them into associations, so that it will be easier to administer them and it will be easier to provide intervention to them. And by so doing, I am sure we will definitely improve commerce, will improve small and medium scale enterprises will spring off, and government can intervene to support them in terms of capital, in terms of whatever they needed. So I think we have a very good approach to that, and I'm sure once that is done, we are going to achieve that to improve the commerce and industries within the state.
Your Excellency, somewhere down the line, we will be asking you to fix timelines to some of the targets that you've set. But very quickly, before we get there, I would like to ask you, have you fixed a target for internally generated revenue in Jigawa State? What is the target that you fixed? And how sure are you to be able to deliver on the target you fixed for IGRO?
Yeah, if you look at our 12 months agenda, we'll have fixed our target. The target we fixed is that within the next 2 years, inshallah, we'll be able to generate 40% of what we are receiving from the Federation account. We intend to achieve that through what I have just said. We intend as much as possible to organize the informal sector. Once the informal sector is reorganized, we will try as much as possible to introduce what is called presumptive tax system. Now, I'm sure when that is done, and once they are empowered, the informal sector is empowered, is reorganized, and is performing effectively. So we will try as much as possible in the first instance to introduce a presumptive tax system that will be able to collect tax from the informal sector. And also our agricultural program that we intend to pursue immediately has a good potential of generating a lot of revenue to the state. Now, for instance, our Kulosa farming system, when we organize it and expand it, it will definitely give a lot of revenue to the state. Now, for instance, presently in Jigawa State, you see buyers of paddy rice going up to the farm, collecting, buying paddy rice from the farmers, right from their farms. So what we intend to do is we try as much as possible to create specific markets for paddy rice in different locations. And this market will be fully modernized in the sense that they will operate in the best possible way within the provision of the law. And once that is done, we will invest to create this market, and so we will try as much as possible to provide incentive to farmers that they should not sell their paddy rice at the farm, they should bring it to the market. And that incentive is, we will try as much as possible once, where there is no access road, we will try to provide access road so that this farm produce can easily be brought out from the hinterland. Also, in addition to that, sometimes farmers, they don't have they always short of money. So what we intend to do is we'll also try to introduce a system of where a farmer, once he finish his harvest, he can easily call a driver, say, look, I have something that I want to take to the market. The driver will come and then deliver the goods to the market for him, and then the government will find a way of settling that driver, and then from the proceeds of the farm, the government will recover those money. We have tried that in health system we have tried that in the health sector for the pregnant woman. The pregnant woman now in all the hinterland, in all the hard-to-reach areas today, that if you have a pregnant woman that you need to convey to the nearest hospital, you call the driver. We have designated so many drivers in different locations, so they will come and pick the woman and deliver to the hospital, and then you'll be paid automatically. So we will also extend that to the
so the Your Excellency, you're talking, I'm listening, and you're describing a scheme somewhat of an agro-ally production enhancement initiative that will be multifaceted and that would link the producers to off-takers to business clusters. I mean, that it's an expansive scheme. I would really like to see how that works out. We're fast losing time. I need to hurry you along to the last segment of our program. But before then, I heard you talk about education earlier on and what you intend to do in the educational sector. I am more interested in how you intend to close some of these cultural and social lapses that have inhibited, inhibited enrollment, especially for basic education. And I don't know how you also intend to engender community and family support in achieving or increasing enrollment in basic education in communities, rural communities in Jigawa State. Very quickly, Your Excellency, if you can, before we move on to ticking the boxes.
You see, like part of our education, our policy on education that we have in the 12-point agenda is that, okay, we will try as much as possible to integrate the Sangha Islamic education system to the formal education systems. Once that is done, we are sure that, okay, once we are integrated into the formal education system, that will allow us to provide a budget line for them. And with that, we are sure, one, we will reduce the number of out-of-school children, and then we'll increase the enrollment in our schools. Also, in addition to that, with the existing system in the basic education system, we have what we call the Parent-Teacher Association, we have the SBM also as an independent organizations for parent. We will try as much as to strengthen these organizations and to work with them closely so that they can also help to ensure that enrollment has increased in school. They are playing a better role now, but we feel that with more support, they will be able to do better. And then that's what we intend to do, to encourage the Parent Teacher Association and the SBMs, so that once we put it together and with a policy of bringing the Sangha Islamic education system into the formal education curricula, then we will be able to ensure that the community, we have gotten the buy-in of the community in trying to improve the educational system of Jigawa.
Very well, Your Excellency, very well. I would like to move you along very quickly to our next segment. I made inference to it. It's called Ticking the Boxes. I'm sure you will find it quite easy to follow. We will give you a couple of options and a couple of targets. As a matter of fact, key targets, we've called them. And then we will give you about 3 options. These options are timelines to choose from. And I mean, we've penciled them down, and then you would choose whichever timeline falls, I mean, that you think your administration can achieve this target. It's not a big deal, Your Excellency. I'm sure you'll be able to do it. Ticking the Boxes is up next. A quick reminder that the targets all come under 3 different timelines, starting from 100 days and culminating in 4 years. His Excellency will take whichever timeline he thinks is best suited for each target. So we'll begin. I'll ask the director to put the box on the screen there. I'm very sure you can see it on your screen, Your Excellency. The first target on the box there says increased enrollment for basic education. Which of the options of the timelines there do you think you can achieve, will best suits when you can achieve increased enrollment for basic education? Is this something you think you can achieve in 100 days? Is this something you can achieve in 2 years, or rather 4 years on the whole?
No, certainly with the plan we have on ground of bringing in the Sangha education system into the normal formal education system, and I think within the next 2 years, within the next 2 years, we should be able to achieve substantial progress.
Let's quickly move on to the next item. To curb insecurity by 70% statewide in Jigawa State. Is that a target you think you can achieve in 100 days, or 2 years, or 4 years?
Well, luckily for us, I think in Jigawa State, we are lucky that our state is one of the most secure states in this country, and not because we are better than anybody, but that's what God wants happens to us, and we thank God for that. So, but all along, we'll try as much as possible to see that we have built on the present system, and based on that also, I think we should be able to make impressive impact within also the next 2 years. For example, if we
2 years
we
it
have
is.
a
2
plan
years
in
it
the,
is.
our
Your Excellency, you appear to be in love with 2 years. Let me quickly take you on to the third item: 65% boost in agricultural production. Do you think it's something you can achieve in another 2 years, 4 years, or 100 days?
what percentage is that?
5% boost in agricultural production.
70.
Okay. Yeah, agricultural product, like I said, because of the system we have, I think to achieve 65% boost, I think we can do that within the next 4 years.
4 years it is. And finally, Your Excellency, 50% improvement in healthcare services, healthcare delivery services. Is that another 4 years target, or 2 years, or 100 days? Improvement in healthcare delivery services. Is that a target you think you can achieve in 100 days, 2 years, or 4 years?
No, you see, the major problem we have in the health sector in terms of services is human resource for health. Like I said, we have a lot of investment in that, and that investment will have a gestation period. Now, for example, our School of Nursing, like, we have lost it.
No, we can hear you, Your Excellency. If you can hear us, we can hear you. Please just go ahead.
What I'm saying is, so because of the human resource, we have a plan. We have about 3-4 school of nurses that produce 100 graduates each and every year. So I think to achieve 60% of improved health services with a full complement of staff in all our 287 basic primary health care system, I think we need 4 years to do that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank my guest, His Excellency Umar Namadi, Governor-elect of Jigawa State. Thank you so much for coming on the mandate. We do wish you good luck, plenty of luck, and we will be monitoring as you go about developing or fast-tracking developments in Jigawa State. Thank you so much for coming on the mandate.
Nandi, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity given to me. Thank you so much.
I'm going to take a break. When we return, we will be speaking to a re-elected member of the Federal House of Representatives who is choosing to throw his hat into the ring for the speakership of Nigeria's House of Representatives. Do stay. We brought you the ballot. Are you not tainted by association and not worried that your good manners may likely get corrupted?
No, I don't think so.
Personality data profiling of citizens in the country.
Now we bring you the mandate. Join us Mondays and Tuesdays at 10:05 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. on Wednesdays, Thursdays and Fridays. The mandate showing on the network service of the NTA.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
Oh boy, this one where your eye red. You carry machete, you see carry gun. Wetin you want take and do,
See,
sef?
as I dey para like this, I don't vex.
Oh boy, calm down now.
Like this, I dey go scatter those people businesses. You know, say they scatter our people businesses, eh? You don't see them. See, I dey go there, as I dey go like, and they go show them better craze. They never see anything.
If you destroy their own for here, and they destroy your people own for that side, especially that your brother where they send you money, that way don't block, oh. How you go take survive?
See, this way talk not true, but I see the vex.
Boy, calm down. Make we embrace peace. With peace and unity, everybody.
My people, make we gum body with peace and unity. Make we learn to live as brothers and sisters, so that we country go fit move go permanent side. This message now from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Remember the sweeping wave of the Labour Party and its dominance in the southeast, of course, during the presidential National Assembly elections. One state that was adversely impacted by that wave and its political structure altered is Abia State. But talk about being a survivor, and my next guest falls within that category. It was just returned to the National Assembly by the good people of Bende Federal Constituency in Abia State for a second term. The only candidate, as a matter of fact, of the All Progressives Congress elected to the Federal Lower Legislative Chamber is the Chairman, Committee on Media and Public Affairs, House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Carlo. Welcome to The Mandate.
Thank you very much for having me. And viewers, thank you for tuning in.
I must congratulate you on your recent electoral victory at the polls. I think you went spiritual in your acceptance speech, where you gave God the thanks, and then you did say something like, in spite of all that transpired. I was particularly intrigued when you said outside forces, but even more intrigued when you said inside forces, that despite the best efforts of some forces, even within your own party, you still emerged. What did you exactly mean by that?
Thank you very much. First of all, yes, I went spiritual to give God all the thanks because I'm a child of God, and I don't shy from saying that. And that's my immediate constituency, that I give all glory to God who preserved all our strategies, because the Bible says the horses are made ready for the day of battle. But victory comes from the Lord, and since that victory came,
amen to that.
We have to give him all the glory. So, yeah, you know, with election comes a lot of intrigues, like you rightly pointed out, both external forces and internal forces. It's not everybody that is within the party that is happy that you were sold the first time. You made impact. You brought dividends of democracy back. And some may misunderstand that you offered yourself for service. It's not about your ego. It's not about take up titles. It's all about serving the people. But you have to remain focused, and that was what we did. We remained focused, and we put the people on the center stage with all the distractions. We said, no, we must play the role that we need to play, because these ones here are in search of good governance, good representation. And they were with us. They stood on our side, and they said what they tested the first time was good.
Okay.
And the reward for good work is more work. So they asked us to continue with where we stopped.
You know, on a lighter note, someone once said, a politician once said in Nigeria, that when you seek a second term, that you only, how did they say that? It's the person who fails a class that repeats the class. I mean, but, well, that's by the way. You know, I recall that you won the election by beating your closest challenger by about 6,818 votes. I mean, it's no easy feat at all, considering what we saw play out in this election and how tough and fierce this contestation was. Do you perhaps consider your part in this whole 2023 national election story an attestation, you know, especially with the outcome, the outcome of your election, an attestation that the electorate is beginning to lean somewhat towards some level of sophistry in terms of making choices based on the quality of leadership rather than party affiliation?
I think so. I think that we are advancing our democracy, and with such advancement comes knowledge of what the people want. So for those who knows, your assessment starts from the first day that the mandate is given to you.
Okay.
And it's all about you knowing that the office of the citizens has been activated with this consciousness of advancing our democracy. When you activate the office of the citizens, they get to work. And one of the things that they seek when they get to work is accountability. It's about transparency. It's about credibility. It's about capacity. And they tick the boxes once they see you meet up a particular expectation. Because the expectation basket of most of the electorate is huge. In fact, you need to do a lot of work to make sure you confine the expectation through your expectation management skills within the scope of the mandate. And when you do, make sure that what you promise, what you preach, is what you practice. And make sure that in practicing what you preach, that you are not far from the people. Democracy is about the people. The people will get you in, and the people will expect you to work for them, or they will get you out. So what happened during the last election was an indication to politicians to know accountability is the demand of the electorate. Or if you think they don't know, that was in the time past. They were able to separate those who work for them from those who didn't work for them, and allow the wind to blow most of them who didn't work for them. Comparatively speaking, against the number of times they have represented them out of the way. And though the wind was much in my state
in Abia,
it couldn't blow me away, because my house was built on the rock. The rock of the house of my representation was on the rock of the dividends of democracy. I did not change the people. I was accountable to them. I did not convert their contracts and their money for their projects into my back pocket. I made sure that it got to them, and they were close to me to know that I wasn't telling them lies. So when it came to reward them, they said, this is the kind of representation we are looking for in Nigeria. So come rain, come sun, come wind, come tornado, come whatever you call it, tsunami, those who built their representation on solid rock of, even transparency and accountability and the dividends to the people, those who put the people at the center stage will be safe. And that was the confidence that I had all through, that I have worked for them. If they don't want me back, I was ready to give a last bow and go to my second address, because we have second address. We are not desperate politicians. But my people, and I appreciate them for standing by me. They stood by credibility. They stood by good governance, and that is a motivation for other people who are coming into power. Today I had a meeting with the new members from my state who will be coming to join us here.
Okay.
And most of the things they said that excited me was
from the other party, you mean?
From all that other parties.
Because I know I know for the House of Reps, I think LP, the Labour Party, clinched about 6 seats.
Yes.
And
PDP got one.
And then you had the last one.
Yeah. All of them were in the same room with me today. And one of the things they said, irrespective of party affiliation, was that you are our role model. You have set the right example. Irrespective of party, we want to follow your template. Give us the template. I shared the template with them, and I encourage them of my support, because together we'll go back to help my state, Abia State. If all of us join hands together in our various federal constituencies, we'll be able to reduce the burden on the new governor, to make sure that the trickles of development of infrastructure across the state will raise the mind of the people to believe more in our democracy, and that is beautiful for our democracy.
You know, it's quite intriguing that you threw up this whole, conversation on, working this inter-party coalition and, towards a common goal, especially when it comes to Abia, because I would have thought that you would have been somewhat conflicted, being the only man standing, APC, in the only APC standing amongst other members of the Federal House of Reps, and then, having, in the center, you will be comfortable here in Abuja because it's the central government will be administered by the APC, but back home in Abia, it's the Labour Party that will be the ruling party. And so I was thinking how you would manage this conflict. But it does seem like you've already started. And is this... and very quickly before I even forget, I was trying to say, I keep getting this spiritual vibe from you when you started standing on the rock. At some point, I was confused whether you meant the rock. In the Christendom, the rock is Jesus, but then it's the rock of good governance, which, fantastic. So, and then I've also gotten this vibe of someone who is somewhat sombra. And have you always been like this, or is this an improved version of Honorable Benjamin Kalu, and is that because of what you've seen play out in the last election?
Thank you very much. I've been around for quite some time, and I've been the local government chairman. Those who were there with me in 2003 will tell you I've not changed. I've been in the State Executive Council twice. I've served under the first governor after Obuneanu, which was Dr. Ojikal. I also served under TOG, the former governor who became senator, and before I run for this position. And all the people I worked with will tell you that I have a constant personality, and this constant personality, is how I've chosen to be because of the influence of my belief as well. You made mention of the inter-party relationship.
Yes.
And you were thinking I'll be conflicted. No, if you have followed my politics, even within my victory, after my victory in 2019, I made sure I gave support to the governor of the state, which was Dr. Okezi Igbazo. And everybody in the state knows that I was always there when there were security needs, when there are issues about the state. If any of the department of the state has any need that the federal government need to come in and intervene, I always stood up to make sure that I get the governor to bring the people and I help them at the center, because at the end of the day, it's my state and I don't have two states, and there can only be one governor. And once there is a governor, after election, you drop the vehicle in the sense that governance is supposed to take over, the campaigning and the politicking then. And all the structures of government must come together to have a formidable single purpose of governance, and that should be good governance. And in that purpose, the interests of the people should also occupy the center stage. So however we prefer solutions to the gaps existing in our state should not just be limited to the executive interventions in the state. I believe through legislative intervention from the federal government and the synergistic relationship, or if you like, strategic partnership with the government in the state, we'll be able to impact more lives locally. And once we do that, I'll consider myself an achiever in good governance. So that is the kind of politics I'm bringing on board, even among these new people who are coming to say, hey,
and that's fantastic.
Drop the colors of your party. Let us take up the colors of our pain and find a solution to them.
Laudable fantastic, very progressive, I should say, very, very progressive. But you know, you threw up a couple of issues, and it made me begin to think about the quality of representation that your constituents in Bende are likely to get this time around. I mean, in terms of legislations especially, I mean, what are you thinking about already come proclamation of the 10th National Assembly in terms of specifically addressing their needs? And I'm talking about in terms of legislation now that would specifically address or redress issues in Bende federal constituency. Do you already have plans? Are you already thinking of things?
Thank you. If you watch me introduce myself during plenary, you will hear me introduce myself as Benjamin Okezie-Carlo, representing the good people of Nigeria, starting from Bende Federal Constituency. So my representation is to the people of Nigeria and not only to my federal constituency, because I believe I'm a federal legislator, and the laws I make should not only be laws that
benefits only Bende.
If I do that, then I am not what I'm supposed to go to maybe the local government council their parliament or the House of Assembly. But as a federal legislator, you have the entire country
as your constituency.
Yes, if you see a problem in the north that you need to intervene with a bill, don't say it is not happening in my state, I should ignore it. If you see a problem in the west that needs legislative intervention, you have to wake up. And that was why I chose that way of introducing myself, that I represent the entire people of Nigeria, but I'm starting that representation from a root. Having said that, my people are farmers, my people are traders. We need infrastructural development in huge amount, especially as it concerns the link roads from the farms to the markets. Most of the time, post-harvest products, are destroyed in the farms because, there's no way to take them to the market. So you end up having increasing poverty because the farmers will spend their money to farm, and then when it comes to taking the product back to the market, there is no road. So some of those feeder roads, those farm roads, those basic needs of our people, I'm interested in any law that will enhance them, and I'm not going to be restricting such laws for my federal constituency. If it is good for the goods, it should be good for the gander. So it should spread across the nation.
I get that. I get that totally. I'd like to hurry you along here, or move you along rather. That's the word. And I know it's no longer in the grapevine, or it's an open secret now, since you already opened the lead on your intention to join the race for the speakership of the Federal House of Representatives. Give me an argument that balances equity and fairness alongside competence and capacity for why the speakership should be zoned to the southeast, for starters.
That is one arm of the conversation.
And I get that. But I would like for us to begin with that in the first instance. Because I know it's a party affair. It is the APC that will decide whether or not it's zoning the speakership to the southeast or to any other zone for that matter. But if it were to, if you were to push an argument that balances the need for fairness and equity with capacity and competence, what would the argument be?
One of the strongest arguments, if you just want to narrow it, that what I consider it a bit myopic, pre-qualification.
Give me the narrow-minded version and the expanded one.
The narrow-minded version, when you want to limit it to a zone or to a region, is that, if you do your research well, you'll find out that Ume Uzoke, Honorable Ume Uzoke, was the last full-tenured Speaker of the House of Representatives from the southeastern region, and that was in 1979 to 1983. So we are talking about...
Agunwa was Speaker at some time. That wasn't in this...
No. We are talking about the man that had a full tenure was Ume Uzoke, and that was 1979 to 1983. So we are talking about 40 years of the Southeasterners not sitting on that seat. And the question is why? Is it because there is no competence? Is there no capacity from that area? You know, the other gentleman that came in was 1993 before the military took over. So if you want to really do your analysis, you find out that the Southeasterners have not sat on that seat for 40 good years. I don't think there is any other debates with regards to narrowing it to regional sentiment or regional pre-qualification that will beat that, because it is strong enough that after 4 decades, a people who has not sat as the president should also at least speak for their people there. Many will argue we've had a lot of Senate presidents, yes, but the impact that we need now, that cuts across 360 constituencies of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is that particular position that we have not tested. There is an impact that we're going to make from there.
So I get
but
that.
I don't want to put it
there. So give me the expanded version.
The expanded version should be, what is Nigerians looking for? What is it that Nigerians who are the employers, what are they looking for? And where are they looking for this? And in answering that question, one of the things to consider is, where are we in Nigeria at the moment? What is currently happening in Nigeria, and how do we solve what is happening now? Everybody's talking about diversity, inclusion, and a lot of politics of inclusion is playing up and down. And why it is being played is because of the drive towards national cohesion, ability to harvest national loyalty, and increased patriotic spirit across all corners of Nigeria. Very good, but we should be able to go beyond that. So I think what Nigerians should be looking for at the moment should be diversity sensitivity in a speaker that will make sure that you understand the beautiful diversities we have, but you don't see them as problem. You see them as a beautiful coloration of a nation that God has given to us. That is very important.
Is that what you perhaps possess? Because I look at the growing list of contenders, I see Wase, I see Honorable Jaji, I see Batara, and I see others as well. Is that something that you possess when you say you've tagged it the diversity sensitivity? Is that the edge? Is that your unique selling proposition that gives you that edge over other contenders?
Yeah, I was trying to give you what Nigerians should be looking out for, and I wanted to end up by letting you know that my track record shows that I have that. I have that which I believe Nigerians are looking for. And I've spoken about diversity sensitivity. Another one that Nigerians should be looking for is a man that will uphold parliamentary sovereignty, where though we are 3 arms of government, you understand that we are one government. But in understanding that we are one government, you do not jeopardize the borderlines of the doctrine of separation of power, so that your resolutions from your motions will have impact in the society. Parliamentary sovereignty. Another one that Nigerians should be looking out for is a speaker that will sustain institutional trust, which is given birth to by credibility, transparency, capacity, knowledge-based intervention. Because you see, the institution of the legislature is not just merely for politicking. It is a place where knowledge of the law and the problems of our country, is, put together to provide solutions. It's a solution hub. Nigeria should be looking for a speaker that will be interested in treating what I call participatory inequality, where various federal constituencies are monitored to see the level of their participation in the House, because the more you participate, the more dividends of democracy goes through your place. Another one is that a speaker that will look at issues that borders on equalities, you know, and giving sense to the agenda,
and
the balancing of the agenda.
These are issues that will form the bulk of your agenda in your campaign for speakership. Of course, this is going to be
many more, because I don't think you have time.
We don't have time. We don't have time for that. I'm sorry, but it's been quite intriguing listening to you reel out all of these qualities, and I mean, you've just told us you possess all of these qualities. This is a race that we would definitely monitor on behalf of the good people of NTA, like the good people of Bende. I would like to wish you good luck.
Of Nigeria.
The good people of NTA. Yeah. I would like to wish you good luck in your. I mean, these. You've just finished one contest. You've thrown your hat into another one. I mean, that's what politics is all about.
But all these are subject to the zoning of our party, because party is supreme.
We'll see how that turns out. I'd like to thank you so much for coming on tonight, Chairman, Committee on Media and Public Affairs, House of Representatives, and let's not forget, re-elected member representing Bende, only survivor, Honorable Benjamin Carlo. Thank you so much for coming on the mandate.
Thank you very much.
And that's it for tonight. I'd like to thank my guests, both of them actually, His Excellency from Jigawa and Honorable for coming on the mandate tonight. I'll see you again same time tomorrow at 10:30 p.m. My name is Namdi Odipo. Bye for now.